Hello and welcome to Nerd Positive. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find audio podcasts a little later. In the show, we dive deep into the hearts of fandoms and celebrate the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans. Each week, we'll take you on a journey through the realms of awesomeness. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, things under the bed, many side quests. So whether you're a die-hard yippee-ki-yay mother effer enthusiast or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, Nerd Positive is the place to be. I'm the host, Bradley Butin, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome. And with me every week, I have the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Dave Batista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache,
the flavor saver,
a flavor saver, and the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples. Who are you and what are we talking about today?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for testing Nerd Positive with us yet again this week. My name is Brian S. Dennis, where this week the S stands for gin and juice because that's what's in my cup. All right, so this week what we're going to talk about, unless you have been living on the biggest rock on the planet, we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. We all know this is the next step in what we've long been waiting for. We'll talk more about it. We get into the movie, but what we're waiting for, what we've been long waiting for regarding this, where we're sitting with Marveldom and all the things, sir. But before we do that, I think we talk about our favorites of the week. How about it, sir?
Absolutely. Now, Brian, did you know that there is a gin and juice country version out there?
I did not know there was a gin and juice country version.
And it's approved by Snoop and Dre.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
And it's by an artist named Hardy. I'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of that. Check it out. It's awesome. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
I can go first real quick because you saying I want to make sure I give onus to the. So have you ever heard of a group called, I think I may have mentioned that when he first started the podcast, there's a group called the Cleverleys.
I have heard of them.
The Cleverleys are known for doing very deep old school country sounding remixes or versions of songs, and they are really known, probably the best one that they're known for is Low Block Florida, which most people call the Apple Bottom Jeans song. So if you've not had a chance to hear the Cleverleys, look up the Cleverleys because their stuff is really good. But yes, sir, I will start us off because I know you've made it to a couple movies we want to talk a little bit about. But for me, this past week has been really concentrating on catching on some shows that either had their finales or getting close to that. So first off, and again, there will be spoilers in some of these that I know we watched as a tag team. Some that I know you've not gotten as far into. I'll try and hold back. So number one, I'm going to start off with Bridgerton. So Bradley, have you and the wife caught up on Bridgerton? Where are you at with that?
I have not actually.
Okay.
She is neck deep in studying for her second CPA exam, and I've been just so busy with work that man, like, it's been crazy.
All right. Well, I will say of the I think this is the third season of Bridgerton. Really good show. Again, it really does a great job of kind of mixing in the modern with going back to the pre-colonial days. Just well acted, very funny, and just watching for the hairdos of the queen. That's fantastic. This one focusing on Penelope and Colin Bridgerton, and without giving spoilers, it both is one of the funnier seasons and one of the more risque seasons. So done very well. So this is the one season that if you watch with your kids, there's a couple episodes, maybe you don't. All right. Then for some shows that I think we've both been catching up on, House of the Dragon continues to burn. You like that?
Very much so.
It tends to burn along. How far are you with House of Dragon?
I'm up to date. I'm caught up.
Okay. So House of the Dragon proves this. You know what? If you have two brothers that want the same thing, sometimes you just get blasted out of the sky with dragon fire. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was thinking that Aegon could wear his dad's mask and just reuse it, family heirloom, all that.
Mhm.
And Aemon Targaryen continues to be my favorite of the Targaryens. I still think possibly he's Daemon's illegitimate son, but
100%.
absolutely, absolutely. By the way, if I'm having a semi-incestuous relationship with a prostitute who took my virginity, don't interrupt.
Right?
Just don't. Just don't.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And then the last two I'm going to talk a little bit more about. We've got the Acolyte, and then we've got the boys. So, did you see the season finale of the Acolyte?
Oh yes, we will get we're gonna get into the Acolyte. I
Okay,
got
we'll hold that one then.
yeah.
And then the boys, I know which I just saw the season finale of the boys. The boys amps up pretty much everything, and the boys did this. It showed that there's not really any good people in the boys.
Interesting.
Save one character, they give one character a really great redemption story throughout the
Mm.
season. And Bradley, for this season of The Boys, I only have 3 words for you: Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I love those 3 words, by the way. I am a big fan
Jeffrey
of those 3 words.
Dean Morgan probably steals the season.
That doesn't
Probably steals
surprise me,
the
man.
season.
I mean, he is one of the most underrated actors.
Completely. Him and John Hamm are two folks
Dude,
that I think, like, how are they not, and maybe it's by choice, but
maybe.
how are they not just more household names, especially
Yeah.
given especially with the streaming service and the things that they've been in. Absolutely. I mean, The Walking Dead, made not Made Men, Mad Men,
Mhm.
just, and then then you look at things such as the Watchmen movie. There's just so many things that they've been in that are just fantastic. But yeah, so catch up on those, and then I'm gonna let you talk about yours because I think then we can both kind of unpack the season that was the Acolyte.
Yeah, so shows here, Big Brother is back, and we know I'm a big fan
Yes,
of
sir.
Big
Yes,
Brother.
sir.
Yes, I
The
am.
show, not the government oversight. The show.
Yeah,
The
I'm
show.
right,
Let's be
right.
very clear. The show. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big middle finger to anybody who's trying to lead me in politicals R or D's. I think they're both they're both
And
idiots.
given the news that came out earlier today, it's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting few months coming up.
Last week, I mean the last 8 days.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, like this is we won't get into too much politics, I
But
promise,
but
but
not to get into too much
yeah.
product, but just to tell you, to show you how interesting the world is. So back to the boys just real quick. So the
Yeah.
boys was filmed, had to be months ago to get editing and everything to release it, right?
Yeah.
They literally had to do a disclaimer before this week's this week's episode of The Boys that dropped on Friday. So we recorded
Mhm.
on Sunday, so 2 days ago. It has so many things in it that are similar to what has happened in the past week. They had to literally do a disclaimer and
Whoa.
go, this is coincidental. We're not advocating anything. Like, and they left it on the screen because it was pretty. I mean, it was a lot of like boom, boom, boom. They wouldn't give anyone time to read it. Like it was, and then watch the episode. You literally go like, do they have a magic crystal? Do they have a crystal ball? Like it was
Yeah.
it was almost spooky. It
Same
was
writers as
almost
The Simpsons,
spooky. Or Demolition Man. By the way, we're getting
right?
close to Taco Bell being the only fast food chain left out here.
I mean, I thought for sure that the Corona was going to give us the 3 seashells.
Mm. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And with Sandra Bullock running around, and of course our boy talking about you don't know how to use that would
Mhm.
probably we gonna have to unpack I'm not Schwarzenegger, Stallone one of these days and figure and go that might be a good one for next week. What are our
Mm.
favorites? In fact, let's put it down. What are our favorite Stallones? What are
Yeah,
our favorite
let's
Stallone
do it.
movies? Yeah, yeah. Because no matter what it is, just remember he did it.
That's right. It is true. Awesome. Well, hey, you know what? Let's get into the Acolyte. Let's get into the Acolyte,
Let's
man.
do it, bro.
All right. So if you've been listening to Nerd Positively Reviewed, I have not been very kind to the Acolyte. However,
Neither have the critics. The fans have shown it a little more mercy. The critics have just jumped up and down. I think the last IMDb I saw that it was like 3.5. Like it's not. They've not loved the Acolyte for
yeah.
legit reasons, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, right now it is at a 13% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And
Wow.
a 70% on the tomato meter. What does that tell you? I mean, and it's at it's a 3 out of 10 on IMDb.
It even dropped. It even dropped since last time I saw it. Okay.
Yes, and for Nerd Positively Reviewed, I stopped reviewing, and I just wanted to highlight other people's reviews.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to seem like I was coming down on anything. And there was a lot more bad than there was good. But I will say this, I did find a lot of good and bad that never watched the show, never watched the episodes.
Yeah.
They're just going in and doing the reviews. But with that being said, there are several things that were wrong. I made a list. So let's go through them and we'll just kind of talk it out for a little bit. One.
Now before you get started, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
If the show, and I don't think this was the show's goal, if the show had this goal in mind, this is what it succeeded at it. It made you, throughout the history and canon of Star Wars, it probably did what no other book, comic, movie, show, fan fiction has done. It made you dislike the Jedi.
Yes and no.
All right, let's hit it.
And I'll get into that because I feel like they nitpicked the Jedi that they wanted you to feel bad about, but also not all the Jedi were wrong. You know, I mean, in there, but they made them look really, really stupid and on purpose.
Stupid, weak,
right?
Little thing called little matricide, child kidnapping,
right? You know,
lying. Remember, you know, I thought deception was on the other side of the Force. I will share though, and I'll wait till you get done. I will tell you there was one thing that they did that I loved, and it was only one thing, but they did do one thing that, all sarcasm aside, that I think they did incredibly well. That I thought will be my takeaway from the season. But let's get into your list, my friend.
Oh, well, I mean, before I get into that, but I think you're right. When you're talking about the whole going to get the kid, she could have told a really good story about that, and she featured too many Jedi. She featured too many Jedi in a show that was supposed to be about the Sith.
I think we mentioned it. Because I believe the first way they dropped episodes 1 and 2, it was an 8-episode season. I think after episode 4, maybe 5. I remember when we were reviewing it, we got to around the halfway part, and they've told us nothing.
Yeah,
they've absolutely told us nothing. It goes back to those old episodes of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, that you will have like a 3-episode arc that like nothing happens.
Dude's
like Vegeta, thank you. Vegeta would power up for like 3 episodes. Like,
it's like,
okay, we see the rocks rise in the air and your hair's turning yellow, and we see the rage, and they always had that one vein like right here in the forehead. And next time on Dragon Ball Z,
man, like. Dude, Leslie Headland could have been the next George Lucas.
Yes.
She could have told the entire story of the Sith, but instead she wanted to tell a really bad story about the Jedi. And I don't know, man. All right, here's my list.
Let's do it.
There's too much filler. For an 8-episode show, could have been told in 2 hours. Her story from start to end. The flashback episodes the flashback episode should have been half flashbacks,
right?
And then she should have found some way to fill that. 2, bad writing, starting from episode 1. OSHA, they go and arrest OSHA for this heinous crime with douche Jedi and his Padawan, which was one of the best characters in the show. What do? They put her on a ship with that's controlled by droids.
Yeah.
A person that just killed a master Jedi,
Right.
dumb, bad, or at least lazy writing.
Yes, sir.
And the main character, Amandla Stenberg, was horrible. She was you could not
Yeah.
tell the two people apart. The Osha and May, there was no difference between them.
And there was no. They also, if I can jump in, they also for two. So they were. So first off, when they showed them as children, they showed that they already had a lot of disconnect.
Yeah.
They were raised apart. One is meant to be the acolyte of the Sith. One was a failed Padawan. So you would think they would be diametrically opposed. And they would switch alliances not only with each other, but with everything else without any real
Yeah.
reasoning. They would fight and then make up, then fight again when nothing would happen. Because
Yeah.
I couldn't understand, like, so there's one episode, and I believe it was after they go back to their home planet, that literally it was they went from defending each other and running away from the Sith and the Jedi to fighting each other for no reason. Literally, the episode, May goes, I'm going to go and talk to the Jedi and explain what happened with her running away from the Sith Master, to when she finds the Jedi, she runs from the Jedi instead of going, this is what occurred, to then when her and when her and Osha are together, they fight because Osha wants to take May to the Jedi, which at the beginning of the episode, May said was her whole reason for running away from her master, was to go talk to the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's get into
And by the way, the episode 35 minutes. So the fact they can't tell anywhere close to a cogent story in 35 minutes is problematic.
Then let's talk about, you had the Kalneka, you had Master Torben, and Dara, and Master Soul. They were coming. They didn't demand Osha or May. Osha wanted to go. And the thing that happened that sparked all the entire thing. Okay, so Master Torben got, and he wasn't even Master. How he made it to Master, who knows? Because he was very, very much a Padawan.
He was really weak. He was and not a great Padawan at that.
Yeah, and then he goes.
He was the most vulnerable of the four.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then he has some cool force field around him for 10 years, and then he offs himself for being mauled by a possessed Wookiee Jedi, which was the only fight scene we got from him.
Which was, let's remember, one witch influenced Torben. It took the entire coven to influence Kalneka. So just point that out, by the way.
Yeah.
And they didn't explain, I'm jumping ahead, they didn't explain why the whole deal that Indara did killed the coven. Like, that would have been great. Okay, so they're dead. Like, maybe a little exposition, like, hey, we have to be careful when we exert our will over someone, because we're forced out, that can kill you. 5 seconds of exposition, earlier episode explains why that happened. Instead, the entire coven, I mean, by the way, if they'd have paused, they go from saying you nothing to cramping everything into too much of a time frame. So why did that kill them? Yeah, again, all the things that is just so unclear. Please continue, brother.
Oh no, and then like Saul was right for killing Anastasia. I mean, like, she was turning into a black mist. Like, I mean, fangs, red eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay.
But by the way, that's one thing in the episode that kind of got me interested, and that was cut short. Just like I was waiting for the kill Naka moment, and that happened off screen. So like, let's take all the things you really want to see and either make them too short or do them off screen. All the stuff you really don't care about, let's have that entirely, all that exposition of this. They still didn't explain how a little piece of part, even when they tried to show what happened more in detail, still didn't show how burning up a little piece of parchment paper destroyed. So we got to pause here.
Yeah.
So here's my two take. One, I mean legitimate, which I'll share in a moment. The other, which is my tongue-in-cheek one, is, so what you're saying is the whole reason that the entire Acolyte series I'm gonna say serious. 'Cause I really don't think we should get a season 2 out of this.
No.
Is had the compound had any type of fire suppressant system, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No fire, no fire extinguishers. No nothing, no water, no
Yeah.
nothing. Just boom goes the dynamite. Literally, boom went the dynamite.
Right.
Okay.
And really, man, like, okay, so for the cover up. Okay,
Yes.
so Master Soul was on Coruscant teaching younglings when Indara was killed.
Mm-hmm.
He's blamed for that murder. He gets blamed for 10 Jedi murder. And
Mm-hmm.
Yoda doesn't see through this stuff.
Well, does he? Because that's the cliffhanger
I
that we
know.
got. So perhaps.
Man, like,
Perhaps.
yeah,
Also, wait a minute, and that's the other thing of it is one Jedi Master was responsible for killing 10 other Jedi.
mhm.
Okay, yes, he has master status, but is he that Jedi? You know what I'm saying? Like, does anybody go? So, like, if that had been Yoda, you go, all right, that's Yoda.
Yeah.
That's Yoda. That's Mace. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could pick maybe a few Jedi that if they turn dark, okay, doing that.
Yeah.
Versus Saul was an instructor. I mean, he's a master, but he was committed to the younglings.
Mhm.
So we're supposed to believe that he took out Indara and Kanaka and all the ones, including his own Padawans,
Mhm.
by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, man? It wasn't about the Sith, and it should have been about the
The
Sith.
Sith. The couple episodes that they made it more Sith centric, like with the stranger, those were the better episodes. First off,
Mhm.
Manny Jacinto did a great job.
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
say
absolutely.
Manny Jacinto, and probably because she was only in the series a little bit, Indara, they were the two characters that I really didn't care about May and Osha. I wanted to. And I don't think it was the actress's fault. I don't think she was given good material to work with. They still didn't explain the whole virgins thing, which again,
No.
they left off with cliffhangers with, again, spoiler alerts. We get to see Yoda's the final shot
Mhm.
in the last episode. They talk about the virgins. So really, they're really one person split into two. They have, they have some shadowy figures. What
Yeah, so
happened?
that
I'm
was
sorry.
That was
I thought
Darth
that was
Plagueis.
Plagueis, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so what that means was that Plagueis sees this virgins, sees that the Force that can create life,
Mm-hmm.
which he tries to search for to do when he's training Palpatine.
Mm.
Palpatine tells Anakin about Osha and
Yes.
May in the opera in Return of the or in Revenge of the Sith.
Fifth. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
That's how that is connected.
Okay. All right. And again, had they spent time connecting those dots, that makes it. I mean, you said this before. They had good source material. They just executed in a piss poor way, which is really unfortunate. Because I was really hyped for this series.
Oh, me too.
And again, my guess is because of Star Wars, it'll probably get a second season, if nothing else, than to tie up those loose ends. But I don't know if they need to pull in Favreau and Filoni, like fix this. But this was tough. It wasn't Andor's, as we officially call it, and Snore, was boring. This was bad.
Yeah.
This was bad. It was very similar to how especially when Sony had control of so much of the Marvel universe, they would tell these horrible dark. By the way, we've never gotten a good Dark Phoenix ever.
No.
But when they would try to tell the dark, whether it was in X-Men 3 or the Dark Phoenix movie, like you just go like, but there's good. Just do what's in the comics. Or when M. Night had that horrible Last Airbender movie, like if you just use what's in the source material from the show. This was just from hearing you, just use is there. You don't got to create this, but they didn't do a great job. All right, what's else on your list, brother?
Man, that's it really. I don't want to keep ragging on this. I will say this: It could have been fixed. There is a way to do something better. Tell the story of the Sith. What they should have done was focus on the stranger talking about his master, and
Yes,
that the acolyte, when the acolyte is ready to become the apprentice, they're
yes,
gonna kill his master
right.
together
That
and
would
become
have.
the new master and apprentice, the rule of two, and then you could tell the history of that Sith. May and Osha should have been one person the entire time with schizophrenia. That she was a Jedi and a Sith at the same time and
Time.
didn't know.
I like that. So here is, before we move forward from the acolyte, here's the one thing that they got right, which is, again, and they got it. And my favorite moment from the entire season, and there weren't many.
Mhm,
By the way, we started off the season with me liking it a little bit more than you, and
mhm.
then slowly but surely, like when they did the flashback episode, that's where they lost me. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
really? All right. When Soul makes his confession in front of May, and he realizes that Osha hears him, and he tries to explain, and she force chokes him and just says, "Stop talking, stop talking." And it is, sometimes you do things quickly for effect, and you do things slowly for
Mhm,
effect. The fact that it was such a slow, and he actually, in his, right before he died, he forgave her by saying it's okay.
mhm.
And then you see the saber and the crystal change. And then when she activates it, I had never seen, at least in live action, them ever depict why Sith sabers are red.
The
And to
bleeding of the saber.
yes, and when we see that, that to me was, that's a great kind of pivot point to end, for the most part, to end a lot of the season on. If they built to that more effectively, it's a great way of putting like the head on the story, like really putting the top on the mountain.
Yeah.
Amanda Jacinto did a great job. His interact I don't know if it's the same actor, but his interaction with Osha was much better than his interaction with May.
Mhm.
She got seeing May turn to the dark. I'm sorry, seeing Osha turn to the dark, which again, that's why it should have been focused on the Sith. That was a much better story than May going, maybe, huh? And the thing with the memory,
It was dumb.
that was stupid.
Yeah.
Because even though she forgets, it's not like the Jedi forgot, and that's exactly
Mhm.
what you get. Like, what is her? Because here's the deal: if they leave and don't tell her where they're going, it's the same impact of wiping her memory. So, hey, they flew off the planet. I don't know where they went.
Yeah.
There was no benefit of that whole. And the thing with the poem, again, it was meant to be this really dramatic moment.
Mhm.
If we cared about the characters, it would have been. But
Mm.
because you didn't care about the characters, like, and okay,
Yeah.
like,
E-
can we
either
just,
Osha, either Osha or the stranger should have killed May.
that would
May
have
should
made sense.
May
Yes.
should not have made it off of that plane, off of that plane. And since she
Or
was
May kills
dressed as
herself. Or
Osha,
May kills herself.
right? Yeah, and she was dressed as Osha, so
Yes.
they would have thought Osha was dead, and
Yes.
that would have been it.
Yes.
But
What they should have done to play it out, they should have beheaded her, because that way they couldn't have found. No, and I mean that seriously,
yeah,
because of the scar or the brand. I think they call it a brand, but the
yeah,
brand that May has through the ceremony that Ocean never got. If they do that, they show the body, the head is gone. You're right. They assume that Osha's dead, and then Osha can truthfully own the May identity and all that.
mhm,
And that also, again, if she does, that's a willing sacrifice. Again, so here's we're gonna fix your story. Last
good,
episode, they're getting ready to leave. They understand that as long as there's two, they'll never stop looking. And then May, who has been feeling this guilt over the destruction of their home, inadvertently the loss of the coven. She goes, then I need to die. And you see her kneeling in front of the stranger, and then the stranger preparing to do it. And as he prepares to do it, Osha stops him, and Osha does it, knowing how much she loves her sister, and her killing the person she loves most truthfully is her embracing the dark side. Almost like in to get the soul stone, you got to kill what you love, right? So she had
Hmm.
to kill the person. She had to kill herself. Remember, there's born as one, always two, whatever the hell that poem is that they
Hmm.
do. That, by the way, that would have done it. You then don't have to split the actresses' time. You don't have to go back and forth.
Hmm.
You could blame. You could then even possibly even blame that on Saul. They could have done whatever, and now you have a much more compact story. That fixes a lot of this stuff. Other than we're gonna keep kicking this can down the road of how do we have the twins that aren't really twins
Yeah.
and all the thing. And similar to now, and then I'm done. Two tropes that I think are overused. One of them we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, but two tropes that are overused in most fantasy is anything to do with memory and anything to do with time travel.
Hmm.
That just gets me like, okay, we're just gonna forget that happened, right?
Yeah.
It's lazy writing. It's a way of retconning things. It's like, we'll just have people forget, or have them go back in time,
Hmm.
and it's just, or write the story but fail at the beginning. All right, my
Yeah.
friend.
That's it, man. Let's move on. Let's talk Marvel. Let's get a little bit
let's
better.
let's
Let's
talk
get
about
nerd.
Marvel and a movie that this little movie that we've not heard a whole lot about.
Yeah.
Marvel's not put any money and publicity behind it, and it
Zero.
stars all these unknown actors and actresses that have never been in any Marvel products, whether we're talking the MCU or Sony ever. And there's not even like a whole bunch of comics that show these characters there. It's completely new and foreign. And this features a couple guys, Deadpool and
And
Wolverine.
Wolverine. So let's talk about. Do you know the good history of Deadpool and Wolverine?
I know some. I know some. I'm leaning on you for a lot of
All
it. Let's
right.
do it, bro.
So Wolverine is from Weapon X, which is the same program that Deadpool is from later on. And
And our lovely peaceful neighbors to the North, Canada, which created. By the way, I love the fact that two of the most skilled, trained mercenaries we have in Marvel are both from Canada. I love that. I just absolutely love that. Show you that a
that's
free health care, you get a great healing factor.
right. Oh man. Yeah, and well, Hugh Jackman and
Hmm.
Ryan Reynolds, real life friends.
Hmm.
I don't know if they're best friends or whatever.
They're tight though. They're boys. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they have been baiting Hugh Jackman to pick up the claws for years.
Just in Deadpool's response to Logan ending,
Hmm.
was, you're right. And those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there was a really quick ad that Deadpool did for Deadpool 2, which came out after Logan, in which he takes the cross that Weapon X does, or X, not Weapon X, X-23 does when her father dies, and he turns it to the X and all the he makes fun. I mean, this has been, and I'm gonna let you finish talking,
Oh, you're
but
good.
this has been Ryan Reynolds slash Deadpool, like I said, baiting Hugh Jackman. And I got to give Hugh Jackman credit. He's talked about in some interviews why it took so long for he goes, I forget how old Hugh Jackman, he's in his 50s. He
Mm.
goes, just for him to get in the physical shape, because he goes, Logan doesn't age, Wolverine doesn't age, Hugh Jackman does. And so 2000 was when the original X-Men came. So in 24 years, he points out, for me to be in shape, he goes, I want to be shirtless, I want to do all the things. He goes, that's a lot harder 24 years later. So he goes, like, there's a reason. There's
Yeah,
a reason for this. But please keep going, bro.
man. Everybody knows Deadpool. Everybody knows Wolverine. You know what? Let's just talk about, what do you want from the movie? What do you want to see from Deadpool Wolverine? Do you
I,
think it's going to be serious, or you think it's going to be more comedic?
I think what we're gonna, if they do, and I think this will be true to the comic, this will be true to the character, true to the actors that play the characters,
Hmm.
is you will get a very serious, stern Wolverine, and you're gonna get Deadpool being Deadpool. Which, again, there's ever any actor that's born to play a role, is Ryan Reynolds playing Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
The and all the things. And what I really want, so that's what I want from a character dialogue. I want a lot of
Hmm.
banter, very similar to what he and Samuel L. Jackson did so well in Hitman's Bodyguard, not so much in the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard or whatever the sequel is called. Is that, um from an action scene, I want to, earlier in the movie, To get it out of the way, I want Wolverine versus Deadpool. Two guys with incredible healing factors, two guys that know how to hurt people, two guys that are somewhat masochistic. They don't mind hurting themselves either.
Mhm.
Um, to just get it out of the way, just to get it out of the way, and then how that goes. Now, I've been reading about it. Now we know there. One of the tropes I just talked about, there's definitely a time travel piece of this. You have the TVA as part of this. Obviously, if you know the shows or the movies, Logan dies in Logan.
Mhm.
So which of the myriad of timelines that we have, and that's I found this very interesting. And Brad, you probably read many of the same articles. They have characters that have been in previous Deadpool movies, Wolverine movies, and X-Men movies, but from both sides of the universe. This is Brian's real quick history lesson.
Mhm.
How Marvel made the MCU, and I've said this in multiple podcasts, that they licensed out some of their biggest characters to Marvel, which were Spider-Man and the X-Men. That's why for so long, until Miss Marvel,
I mean,
we didn't even hear the word mutant in the
mhm.
MCU because that was owned by Sony. At least Sony was here
Fox,
where
yeah.
you had that, right? It was an option to Sony. So you have some characters reprising roles that have been from the previous Deadpool movies. Yes, some characters reprising roles that have been from the previous X-Men movies, which were under Sony, including some characters that exist in other versions. And so it's been very interesting how when they cast it, which versions that they pick. That's going to come with actually a couple questions I have for you based on the movie. I want to get your feedbacks on. So I want to see how all those things play together. And what I'm most excited for, honestly, is Cassandra Nova,
So Cassandra Nova is Xavier's sister,
twin sister,
twin
not just
sister,
sister, twin sister.
twin sister.
Including
That
in the comics, she's depicted as bald and the whole deal. And I don't think now I'm not sure they're gonna do this in the movie, but
mhm.
yes, and including she attempted to kill Xavier in the womb. She actually, from a power standpoint, is a more powerful telepath than Charles Xavier. She's actually the stronger of the two twins.
Mhm.
So it'll be very interesting to see her how they do they even because if they bring Cassandra Nova, you know, that they bring in Professor X and all the things with the X-Men. I mean, this would be a great launching point with that.
Yeah.
But please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Oh man, I mean, I think for sure Patrick Stewart's doing a cameo.
I'm excited for the cameos. I'm excited to see where we go with this. I'm curious how this plays. I just happened to watch yesterday. I watched the Marvels, so I'm curious about. And by the way, the Marvels with time separating between when it came out, I actually like the Marvels more.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it gets better when you get more separation from it because there were really high expectations for it. The
Mhm.
more I watch it, and honestly, again, not to go too big of a tangent, they actually because there was so much going on, they actually did a better job of explaining some what's going on if you watch the movie again and go, oh, that's why that happened. But it was but a lot of these were throwaway lines
Mhm.
that they just had. Again, sometimes you do things too fast for it to sit with your audience. That when you watch it, especially at home, when you can pause and rewind, it makes more sense. But that being said, I mean, we've been talking for months at this point since we saw um, Doctor Strange did the Multiverse of Madness. Since we saw Marvel, since it just was released that the X-Men were coming to the MCU. And by the way, I buried the lead. This is going to be the first Deadpool movie released in the actual MCU. The first two were not. So
Yeah.
this is good. They've been on streaming services for a while now, but this is the first one that actually is jumping off in the actual MCU, and I believe it still holds that rated R rating. So good
Mhm.
for them with that because you can't do Deadpool PG-13. They
No,
tried
no, you can't.
they tried that in Wolverine Origins, and
Yeah, I will. Okay, do you prefer Taylor Bane or Liv Schreiber?
stop. That was the question I was going to ask you. Dang it, it's right here on my screen. Questions for Brad. I promise you, my first question: Sabretooth, Taylor Maine versus Liev Schreiber. Who do
Taylor
you
Mane.
prefer? Take
Taylor Mane.
Liev Schreiber. This is gonna be this is gonna be our line in the sand tag team partner. I of the first X which I loved.
Mhm.
My one thing I actually didn't like Taylor Maine as Sabretooth. I thought it was too feral. I mean, Sabretooth is feral, but
Yeah.
I love the Liv Schreiber version of he at least had a little bit of a brain. Okay,
I
and
did
maybe they
that.
changed how Taylor Maine plays him now,
Yeah.
but he looked more like Wolverine. I mean, Saber. He looked like Sabretooth,
Yeah.
but he wasn't. He was basically just Magneto's whipping boy versus. I like the more plotting, psychopathic nature
Hmm.
of Leo Schreiber's version. Um, I get Leo Schreiber. I mean, Taylor Maine. Honestly, they're probably both up there in age now, meaning north of 50. My guess would be,
Hmm.
and maybe Lev didn't want to do it, but I was a little disappointed that just my gut instinct when I saw it was Taylor versus Liev. But again, I'm excited to see it, but that's 1-1. I want to see how they play this out.
I mean, Taylor Maine never really got a chance to be Sabretooth in
Mm,
X-Men. They used him as a throwaway
he
character. They
was, he
really did.
was. He got electrocuted and off he went. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And it was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah, yeah.
We got Sabretooth.
Yeah.
And the Liev Schreiber, I just didn't feel he was Sabretooth. He was too much of a good guy. He was more of an anti-hero than the villain, which done right isn't bad.
By the way,
Sabretooth is pretty badass.
the named characters leading this movie are both more anti-hero than good guys.
Oh yeah,
Right.
100%.
They definitely are more this. I'm curious again if we do get some type of X-Men cameo. We already know Colossus will be in it. We also
Hmm.
know that Yukio will be in. Now here's
Of
the
course.
interesting thing. So Bradley, did you catch that? And I'm curious which version, which again is how they cast this. So Yukio, who in the Deadpool movie is the girlfriend of Teenage Negasonic Warhead,
Warhead, yeah.
but in Wolverine or the Wolverine when he spends time in Japan, that character is also the character that has the death sense.
Hmm.
It's the same character. So I'm curious which version that we get.
Interesting. Yeah, you know what?
Also,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, also just a little grist for your mill. Do you know the backstory of how that character? I don't even this for time. That character was originally written. They had to change it. That character was originally written to be the girlfriend of Storm. They were going to make Storm a lesbian,
Really?
and Yuko's going to be her girlfriend. The editor in chief at the time said that nope, we can't do this. That's when they gave her the connection to Wolverine. But she was
Hmm.
originally created to be Storm's girlfriend, and then they went another route with her. But so that's something I'm interested to see. And again, also, do we get? I agree with you. Probably gonna get a Professor X some way. Do we
Hmm.
get a Cyclops? Do we get a Jean Grey?
I think
You
we're
know,
getting Storm. I think we'll at
we'll probably
least
get a
get
Storm.
Storm.
And again, do we get a different Storm? Do we get a previous version of Storm? Do we get Halle Berry? You know, who do we get? And I think there've been 3 or 4 actors that played Storm in the film. Do
Hmm.
we get a Magneto? Do we get so there's a lot of those various things. I think the movie makes perfect sense to be some type of a jumping point off for the will eventually be an X-Men movie. It's just how does that work? And of course we're getting some version of Morbius, not sure which one.
Hmm.
So my guess we might get a an Owen Wilson sighting, something to do with the TVA. I mean, if you read about articles and read about if you go to Wikipedia, you can see a lot of cats. So we definitely get a connection with this. So here's my last question to you, sir. Do you think we get? Well, then I've got 2 more. But do you, with all the time travel in the TVA, do you think we get a? Do you think we get a Loki sighting?
Yes, I do think we're gonna get a Loki, whether it's the Lady Loki or not,
Mhm.
or regular Loki.
Did you see that we get a dog version of
Oh, Dogpool.
Deadpool?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
get
Dogpool.
Dogpool
Yeah, we
and we
get
get
Dogpool.
Lady Deadpool. We're getting
Yes.
Cowboy Deadpool. And
Yes.
dude, wouldn't if what if okay, so I can't claim this. So I heard this on TikTok and
Okay.
I love this. What if Matthew McConaughey is Cowboy Deadpool? What if it's Matthew McConaughey as Cowboy Deadpool?
I think we're gonna. What if we get a? What I can see this one also is while we may not see this in like the character, we may see this. So this was a quick throwaway, but for nerds, if you remember in Avengers Endgame, Thor, Fat Thor
Hmm.
on New Asgard, When he walks in, his boys are playing a video game online, and Newt Master is being really abrasive, and Thor gets on the headset and yells at Newt Master. Newt Master is a call sign that Deadpool uses. So give us the other side of that, of Deadpool having some type of online gaming argument with Thor, or having a reference back to that. I don't think we'll see Thor. I would just love to see, honestly, with the probably super huge budget, and I think Hemsworth might be done with Thor, to tell you the truth. But if they could have some type of reference to Thor, they like go back, yeah,
Mhm.
go back to that movie. See, that really was me. I think that'd just be something they could do, throw away, take 5 minutes of screen time. That, for those of us that again are nerd positive, that would geek out over it. All right, man, I'm hyped. I'm so hyped for it.
Nice. I think we'll get Kid Pool. I mean, because why? I mean, if
Mm.
they could put lightsabers in the movie, why wouldn't they? I
Yep,
think we'll
yep.
definitely get we'll get Kid Pool. I mean, do you think Lady Deadpool is going to be Blake or not?
I think no. I think they're holding back Blake for Dazzler. No, that'd be Taylor, right? Taylor
Taylor
would want
Swift,
him to
yeah,
be, yeah. So yeah, that
yeah.
would make sense. And I can see her doing that. I can see her doing that. Also, we're supposed to get Lady Deathstrike.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'm good with that. What about
Some,
Gwenpool? Do you think we could
oh,
get Gwenpool?
oh, mm. And if you do that,
I
I'm
mean, we
sorry.
gotta have something with we gotta get something with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man
Yes,
and Deadpool are just too. I don't think we'll get Tom Holland Spider-Man. I don't.
no. But getting Gwenpool would be good. But again, in a live action version, who plays Gwenpool?
I mean, Emma
You go
Stone.
get Bryce Dallas Howard. Hey, Bryce, you want?
That'd be nice. Hey, speaking of Spider-Man,
I
look
was
at
gonna
that.
say that was like, almost like you planned it. That's a great cameo. All
Nice.
right, Princess Leia, let's hear what she's got.
Hi.
Hi, Princess.
Yes,
How are
thank
you?
you. We are on our third Descendants, technically fourth. Do you know the Descendants movie came out like
A couple weeks ago.
9 days ago?
9 days ago. Okay.
Uh-huh. The ending's really bad. Other than that, it's actually kind of good.
So you
But
saying
it
that
shouldn't.
is that pandemically reviewed then?
Sure.
Your
I've never
dad
been
will get
on
it. Your dad will get it. Okay.
his
All right.
podcast Pandemically Reviewed.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So what is your are you what is your favorite part of the Descendants?
Dove Cameron.
Of course. Are we crushing?
Huh?
Are we crushing?
I don't know what that means.
Then you're not. Okay. All right. Hey, let me talk to your dad. Give me a bye bye.
Ha, bye bye. Also, I just had chocolate covered strawberries. They were bussin'.
Nice.
Don't say bus stop.
Well, okay. Give me this back. Second
What?
bye-bye.
Bye bye. Have fun.
All right. So apparently
So we discussed that that thing you need to add to your Pandemically Reviewed is Leia's reviews of like shows and movies, because she's got she is her father's daughter. She has no shortage of opinions.
right. All right, man. Back to the cameo. Oh, going over some different versions of Deadpool that we might see. We got what? I mean, could we get a Venom pool?
Venom Pool would be awesome, or at least again, again. I'm not been the biggest fan of the Tom Hardy Venom, but I think this is a great part to drop Tom Hardy in there, even if it's just so with the TVA, with them traveling through as some version of probably time travel. That's the only way they're gonna make the movie make sense. To at least have like this to happen. There's got to be a time travel as part of this, and you can throw in different versions. Like give us Tom Hardy. At some point, they've got to reconcile the Venom from the Venomverse with the absolutely insane. And I know again, based on what Dakota Fanning said, she is not going to portray Madam Web anymore. Thank you, Dakota. She wasn't given anything to work with. Dakota Fanning's actually a really good actress. She was not given anything to work with in that movie. But with that
Man,
being
the
said,
spider people were awesome in the movie.
yeah, they've expanded the Spider-Man universe without expanding Spider-Man, right? in the live action. You know how they're doing. By the way, dude, I am so hyped for the next Across the Spider-Verse movie, but they've got to reconcile Venom, Madam Web, all these things that are occurring when they talk about Spider-Man, but don't actually talk about Spider-Man. I think dropping Tom Hardy in just for like a quick cameo would be fantastic. And again, if we get Venom Pool, just showed a different version of it, I think would be fantastic. And again, and I think I already said it, because we're talking Wolverine, there's always a chance of getting a little bit of Marvel Girl, a little bit of Jean Grey in there. But I actually hope. Here's who I really hope. If we talk about femme fatales, give me Emma. That's who I want. Give me the White Queen. That's who I want. Because I think that's a character that we've not seen a great. And talk about someone that Blake Lively could play. Now that
man,
yes,
I never thought I wanted that until you said that, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm for this. I can already see this in my mind. Absolutely.
You can see the outfit. You can see the outfit, can't you?
See the outfit, man. 100%.
You see the outfit.
100%.
You totally see the outfit.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor's gonna be Dazzler, whether it's in this or something else. I mean, it's gonna happen.
And give us strength.
Yeah,
give us strength
for real.
All I'm seeing is Mariah Carey in what's that horrible movie Mariah Carey was in? Glitter. I just,
yeah.
What about a live version of Jubilee? Have we seen Jubilee in live action version before?
We have. She was a student in like X-Men 2 or something.
Okay, but nothing significant.
Yeah, she didn't do anything. And she's an underused character as well.
What about Elliot Page as Shadowcat?
Wait, that'd be awesome. You know what else would be awesome?
Okay.
Channing Tatum as Gambit. We know I'm a Gambit fan. I like Taylor Kish, but like, dude, like Channing Tatum as cameo as Gambit would be awesome.
And he actually can do a decent Southern accent from The Hateful Eight.
Mm-hmm.
But what about also you saying that? I like Channing Tatum, but let me ask you, I want to give the actor, I think I know his name, but I don't want to be incorrect here. It is. What about if someone's going to play Gambit? What about Lucas Black? If you don't know Lucas Black, NCIS New Orleans.
Lucas Black would do a good job.
He's got that strong
NCIS
Southern accent that he's really used to his strength. He's so you've got Gambit again from Louisiana, all the things. You can also, again, we talk about this. You can bring in Rogue, with Anna Paquin. All the things there. I mean, you've got a lot. They also don't have to do this in one movie. But I think what Marvel has an incredible opportunity to do with the MCU is the X-Men is the best example. You saw them do it with Spider-Man when we had Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, them trying to make sense using the multiverse or the different versions. X-Men is the best, and they did even a little bit with Scarlet Witch and Vision, or Vision. What they call it? WandaVision. What they did with WandaVision, how they handle Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opportunity with all these characters that have had various versions in the MCU, in Sony, in movies, in television, recasting because the actors have gotten older or what have you. There's that. So here's my last question I do got two more, but from a casting question, I got one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention it earlier? Storm. Which Storm do you want? Do you want Halle Berry or do you want one of the other versions?
I want Halle Berry with a mohawk.
My guy.
That is the Storm I want. I mean, Halle Berry was perfectly cast as Storm.
Yes, she
Maybe
was.
not perfectly, but she did a great job with the character.
Absolutely.
She really,
Absolutely.
really did. I mean, do you know who would pull off a good Storm though?
I'm listening.
The actress that played Mother Anasaya from The Acolyte,
She would.
Jodie,
Yeah.
Cody, why can't I think of her name? Jodie Smith. Oh, why? That's gonna
Let me
bug me.
look.
All right,
Yeah, I can tell you. Give me 1 second
Cody.
here. But
Yeah.
as we're looking at that, Jodie Turner Smith. Yep.
See, I was right there.
You
Yeah,
were real.
somewhere.
You really were right there.
Yeah,
You really were right
yeah,
there. Dude,
man.
she's only 37. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, she would do a
Do
good
you know
job.
who she was married to?
No.
Joshua Jackson from the Mighty Ducks and Dawson's Creek.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They just recently, meaning 20. Yeah. They're still married. They're separated last year, but they're still married. But yeah. So good job to Joshua Jackson. You know what? That relationship might be on the fringe.
Oh, such a good show.
I heard what maybe broke them up was she asked him to do the triple V in bed, and he was like, "I'm gonna pull a hamstring." All right, okay, all right. I love that. I love that idea. When it comes to the casting, I think there's really cool things they can do with that. And by the way, last thing on Storm, if they and Marvel, if you're listening, and we know you are, I would use this movie if they bring Storm in to then move her over to the Wakanda side of things.
Mhm.
We talked about before in the comics, and life happens, unfortunately, that
Mhm.
the relationship between her and Black Panther in the version T'Challa that was played by R.P. Chadwick Boseman, that obviously can't happen due to Chadwick's untimely passing. They could really key on her and M'Baku. And I would love that. I would absolutely love. I don't know if there's plans for anything else to do with until maybe the next Avengers movie, because I got a feeling that Shuri would totally be in that. But I don't know what their plans are with that. But I think it'd be a great time to focus on Wakanda as a culture and a country when you've got the Black Panther in the U.S. potentially, and Baku probably filling that power gap, introducing Storm, and I think that would be just a wonderful way of doing it. Okay, so I got two questions. I got two questions for you before I move on to my to move to the game part of our show. Are you ready?
Sounds good. Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it.
so you already got my Sabretooth question. So another, because obviously there's going to be some time traveling when you got the TVA. So Bradley, which of these would you prefer, knowing that you are a Whosian and also a kid in the 80s and 90s like myself? Which of these are your favorite? Which of these would be your favorite time travel tools? The TARDIS or the flux capacitor in a DeLorean? It's got to be in the DeLorean.
Mhm.
So you want the
I want the
TARDIS or the
TARDIS.
DeLorean? Really?
TARDIS for sure, man. Yep. Time and relative dimension in space, and it's a lot bigger on the inside.
But
There's a lot more.
88 miles per hour, dude. Okay, I got a quick story for you. So when I got my first car, which was a Chevy Camaro, the first time I drove by myself without any parental supervision, I found this back road just to hit 88 miles per hour, just to say that I did it. And I was a little disappointed. My tires had turned to flame when I went back to 1965. All right, 1955, excuse me. And then but that's fair. That's fair as a Whosian. Not shocking that you picked the TARDIS. I'm going flux capacitor all day. And then the other piece of my last question for you, sir. We know Skee Ball has such a big part in Deadpool lore, especially on his first date with Monica Bacarian, who is also in this. Do you like her better as and I'm forgetting her name, her character's name in Deadpool? Do you like her better in that, or do you like her better in Gotham?
Oh damn! I thought you were gonna go to Firefly.
Oh, I forgot about Firefly.
Man.
Gotham versus Deadpool. Which one of her characters do you like better? Even remember that she does take you through the holidays. Remember that.
I know, and that's the deciding factor here. Really is,
isn't it though? Isn't it though?
You get more of her in Deadpool, but you also get more of her in Gotham.
You get more
in
of her
different
acting,
ways. You know what I mean?
And then this is no shade to her. She's a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
You get more of her acting chops in Gotham or story development. You get more of her God-given other talents in Dead. Okay, we're gonna move forward. We're kids family
Deadpool.
show. We're family show. Yeah, we're family friendly show. Okay. So my actual question though was, what is your favorite arcade game? So we got Skee Ball and Deadpool. What's your favorite arcade game?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the four players.
Okay. Follow-up question.
Or I got a tie.
Okay,
Or the 1990s WWF game.
Yes.
I remember sinking so many quarters into that thing where you could be Andre, the Ultimate Warrior. Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I know James Hellwig, RIP, was a problematic individual. I would geek out every time I hear that theme music.
Mm-hmm.
That actually made me dislike Dave Bautista for like the first like little bit of his singles run because he shook the ropes like the Warrior. And I'm like, there's only one Ultimate Warrior, dude. Stop it. But you know what? We wouldn't have had Drax. Okay. Also, then, all right, perfect. And by the way, because there is only one right answer to this, of the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who's your favorite? There is only one right answer.
Michelangelo, man. Cowabunga, really? Dude.
Really?
I know you're saying Raphael.
No, absolutely Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, dude. I'm so excited for The Last Ronin when they do it, when Netflix does it.
Yes.
Because it's gonna be R. It's gonna be an R-rated show, and it's gonna be freaking awesome.
As it should be.
The Last Ronin is one of the best comics that's been written in the last 10 years.
All right, as it should be. All right. So you ready for my game, sir? I know you've got one too. I got one loaded up for you. Ready? All
right, let's do it.
Okay, so this is what I love doing with you every week. So right now we've done this the past 2 weeks. You are 1-1. Mm-hmm. Same plot, new characters. Those that are not familiar with it, I give Bradley the plot of a movie that is, I'm sure we both have seen. But what I do is I take the characters, or the actors, I should say, and use the different characters they play throughout their filmography to tell you the plot of the movie. I see if Bradley can figure it out. So, sir, are you ready?
I'm ready. I got a pen.
I always
a little
pick the movie. I always pick the movie. It does have something to do with what we're talking about. So this has something to do with what we're talking about as far as Deadpool and Wolverine. So here we go. I'm proud of this one. This is short, but I think it's good. All right, here we go. Wolverine, Storm, War Machine, and Juggernaut star in this action flick where Wolverine hacks a computer that isn't Cerebro using a program that sounds like it should have been in a Percy Jackson movie. Storm uses her superpowers to make Wolverine's compass point due north by showing her dream catchers, all while War Machine warns Logan to watch his back because he can't trust the ultimate big bad villain in this movie, Michael the Angel, or is his name Gabriel? Oh, do you know the movie?
I can see it. It's not Black Hat. It's not Hackers.
No. You're close. No, you're very close. I know why you're thinking this. You're so close.
I know it. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the movie.
It is one of those movies that predates the MCU, but has so many actors from the MCU in it.
God, is not Gamer, not.
It's on the tip of your tongue, man. I want you to get it because I know you know it.
I know you know it. Oh my gosh, I can't. Not Speed, not Scammers.
You're right, though. It begins with an S. You are right there. Your brain is taking you there. Phonetically, you're close.
Not school.
I'll give you a hint. In certain seafood restaurants, you can order it.
Suckerfish.
Not Suckerfish. You're close, though. Fish is right. Not Sucker, though. The Princess Bride has a really good scene featuring these two.
Oh, my God.
Mandy Patinkin and Carrie Lewis's. They fight with...
Swordfish.
There it is.
Swordfish. There it is. Good job. Thank you for the assist. I'm glad you knew I knew what it was.
Yes. But so just to recount for the audience, Swordfish with stars Hugh Jackman, so Wolverine, Storm, Halle Berry, War Machine, the second version. Well, the only person that had to play is War Machine is Don Cheadle,
Mhm.
and then Vinnie Jones, who plays, in my opinion, the better of the two Juggernauts. Even though he was
He's a
kind of
dickhead.
yeah, he is. So they star in the movie and stars John Travolta, which again in Michael he plays an angel, but also in the movie Swordfish, his character's named Gabriel, who just happens also to be an angel. So there we go. There we go. All
Well
right, sir.
done. Well done. All
And
right,
I'll
man.
give you that one. So you're 2-1. You're 2-1.
Yes. Now I have. I think you're going to get this one. I think you're going to probably get this one the same way I got it in
Okay.
2.
All right.
I can in 2 connections. I went and saw Twisters, and
Okay.
Twisters was a fantastic movie.
Did
I
Glenn
love it.
Powell hold his weight? Because I was really wondering how Glenn Powell does. Does he do okay?
He was great.
All right.
Let me know if you can get away this sometime this week. We'll
Yes,
go
sir.
see it.
Okay.
So I want to see it again. All right. I need you. We're gonna fill out of a constellation
Okay.
of Bill Paxton
Ooh.
to Glenn Powell.
Glenn
Bill
Powell.
Paxton. So we're gonna go from
Yeah.
the original Twister to Twisters.
Okay. I don't know why by the RP to Bill. RP to
Mhm.
Bill.
Yep.
Okay. So Glenn Powell to Bill Paxton. All right.
I'll
Let me think.
repeat that again. Bill Paxton to Glenn Powell. I will repeat it. Bill Paxton
I know you're
to
trying to help
Glenn
a brother
Powell.
out. Okay, let me think it through a little bit.
All right.
Uh, do, 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 do. Every time you get one of these, I hear the Jeopardy
I know, me too.
thing in my head. Okay. Do, 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 do. So let me ask you a question. Are any
Yeah.
actors? I haven't seen Twisters yet, but I definitely will get away and see it.
Mhm.
Are there any? I'm not going to cheat, but are there any? I'm just my own question. Are there
Mhm.
any actors in Twisters that are in the original Twister?
Not that I recognized.
Okay, fair.
Except for the old. And this isn't really a spoiler or anything.
Mhm.
And I'm actually glad they did it this way. Is that the best callback to Twister was Dorothy,
Mm.
and it was
As they should, by the way. As they should.
I thought it was very. I didn't feel like they tried to reinvent it. I think that Twisters is a great legacy sequel, as is Top Gun Maverick. Man, I think I like Twisters more than I like Twister.
Really?
Man, I loved this movie. It was really good.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me think here a little bit.
Let me repeat that again for you. I'm going to repeat it. Bill Paxton to Glenn Powell. Do you want to kill it?
No. I'm getting closer. I'm not gonna lie
I'll tell
to
you.
you.
Let me since we'll repeat it then again. If since okay, Bill Paxton.
I know you're trying
Glenn
to help
Powell.
me out. Okay. How many did it take you to get there?
2.
Only 2?
Only 2.
Wait, I think I got it. Hang on. Give me 1 second here.
I think you're on the edge.
I don't know if it's gonna be Beat Yours though.
Okay.
You said 2, so okay. So hang on, let me think. Okay, hang on. Okay, Paxton to him. Okay, and then uh hang on. think I got it. I think I got it. Give me 1 second here. Come try to make sure if it makes sense. Oh. Okay, I got it. Okay, I don't know. Okay, count with me. I don't know if this is the same route. Okay.
Okay.
So Bill Paxton is in. Don't lose it. Okay, yeah. Okay. I think I got it. Bill Paxton and Terry Crews are in Training Day. Terry Crews is in Expendables 3 with Glenn Powell.
That is not how I did it.
How did
But
you
good
do
job.
it? How did you do
All right.
it?
So remember when I said killing it and repeat?
Yeah.
Okay. So Bill Paxton was in Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And
Repeat.
Tom
Oh my
Cruise
God.
was in Maverick with together. Yeah.
I was thinking, I was trying to draw Tom Cruise, not Terry Crews, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
My Edge of Tomorrow, I went Minority Report, Vanilla Sky. I was thinking about what is, because Glenn Powell's a fairly young guy. Thinking about what would be later in Cruise's filmography that he would have been in, but also like what would have been earlier that Bill Paxton, and I totally forgot. It very, very well done. Very, very, very,
Nice.
very well done. That
And
was
you
a
got
fun
there.
one.
Man, and that was good because there's 2 ways that we got to 2. So that's pretty awesome. That is way awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. You got an honest ad yet?
I do. So ladies and gentlemen, join our podcast. Thank you for testing Nerd Positive. So this past week was my birthday. So I wanted to do an honest
happy
ad.
birthday.
Thank you. So I want to give an honest ad for birthday. So here we go. A trip around the sun in search of fun, on to discover we are a year older. We find bits of gray, wrinkles that stay, and our bodies move a little bit slower. People like candles, sing songs of glee, while some of us find it's getting harder to pee. But don't despair, feel worries or care, even if you have thinning hair. Fret not, my friends, this is not the end. Many happy days lie ahead. We grow more wise, more clever, and so much better at using those things hidden under the bed.
Well done.
And for those who don't get the importance of that, wait till you hit your 40s. All right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I think that's it. You got a better than us human of the week?
Yes, sir. I got to send you a picture of this. So for my birthday, one of my coworkers, her name is Nikki. She got me a really cool vinyl painting of different panels and paintings from Batman comics that's going to go up in my living room. It's fantastic. I'll send you a picture of it. It is great. So Nikki, thank you so much for that. That meant a lot. And sir, what about yourself?
You know what? I'm going to say you, my tag team partner, for being your birthday. You are my better than us.
Hey,
of the week.
That works for me, man. And by the way, thank you so much. We have been doing this for a couple years now, and this is still. I think we just get better with age, my friends. So this is fantastic. But we're starting kind of a one-off interview. We just have keep it rolling, sir. So thank you very much for that. All right, sir.
Awesome.
Close us up.
All right. Well, you can find me, friend me, or follow me at Facebook at Nerd Positive, TikTok at Nerd Positive 1, Instagram at the Pandemic 1. All right, Brian, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me on the Book of Faces at Brian Stephen Dennis. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a friend request. And I always try to keep it fun and occasionally weird.
Yeah. All right. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. Go to buymeacoffee.com/nerdpositive or patreon.com/nerdpositive. Become an episode assistant. I can't talk. A pre-bench producer like Stacy, or yes, you can be part of the con for $5 a month. Go to PayPal, Venmo, app Bradley B10. I'm not going to say no. And you know what? Most importantly, just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. It's the best gift that you could give somebody.
Absolutely.
The gift of awesomeness.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Brian, We have hit the max levels of awesome. I think it's time.
All
All
right,
these
so
words of
ladies and
wisdom.
gentlemen, thank you for joining us, being good boys and girls, and for continuing to test nerd positive. Please remember, if you go about your day, that nothing is better than being a nerd. So please, we invite you to never give up, never surrender, and remember that Goonies never say die.
Friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. If you think about it every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. And squirrels' cheeks are also their nutsacks. Have a good day. Stay nerd positive.
Bye bye.
Boom.